Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Red and White Show. Joining me for this one, Rovers defender Bobby Faulkner and Club Doncaster media manager Liam Oden. Bobby, first of all, welcome to the show. How's it been being back in the first team picture over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Robbie. And it's always nice to come back. Well, I haven't been too far because I'm still training with the lads Monday to Friday. But yeah, to still be involved on a Saturday, it's nice. Yeah, it's good to be back.
You've had those couple of loans. Has that been the best part of getting out there? You've got the games on the Saturday, but you're still training with the same players, the same head coach, Monday to Friday, and sort of learning the ropes, if you like. Yeah,
definitely. I'm not missing out on any of the crucial learning that all the lads are getting Monday to Friday. But I'm getting my minutes in on a Saturday, so I'm getting the experience and getting the learning. So
the loans you've had, Worksop and Spennymoor, two very different ones, of course. Worksop absolutely flying when you went there. That one was cut short, wasn't it, by a pretty nasty facial injury? Was that a bit of a blow to you, to be in a team, top of the league, you're playing regularly, to then have a little bit of a setback? I suppose the first real one in your professional career so far.
Yeah, it felt nice for the one game I was there, I suppose, but like you say, I got injured in the second one, which was a bit unfortunate, but you're going to experience things like that in your career, so experiencing it that early just prepares me for the future, really.
You're a player who wears your heart on your sleeve. You don't shy away from challenges, whether that's on the floor or in the air. Did you have to did it knock you back a little bit in terms of when you first go in for them challenges, or was it sort of one of them things, once you've got the first one out of the way after the injury, you forget all about it?
Like you say, I had a lot of people saying, it might affect your game now, but you've just got to play how you play at the end of the day, so it didn't affect me in no way really, no.
Liam, injuries sort of part and parcel of the game, aren't they? And the way Bobby plays, if you take that aggressiveness off him, I think he'd admit himself he wouldn't be the same player. So it needs to be there, doesn't it, that part of his game?
It certainly does. You look at somebody like Tom Anderson and the amount of injuries that he's took, particularly to the face. I think he'll admit himself his nose kind of shows the scars of a few of them. It's as you say, part and parcel, particularly in Bobby's position. And like I say, I think the positive side of it is he's experienced that early. He's got over that, been back remarkably quickly as well from it, and he's got that under his belt so far.
You went to Spennymoor as well, Bobby, another sort of brief loan spell, but were you just trying to be like a sponge in both of those spells and taking as much as you possibly could from the environments?
Definitely. I just went there to help my development and also help them as they needed players. So I believe I went there and did that. I definitely gained a lot of positive experience from there. So it's a win-win, really.
Danny wants his defenders to play in a certain way, doesn't he, to be able to play out from the back and spot the gaps between the lines. What's that like for a young lad, still learning the ropes, if you like, and getting used to a new style and a new head coach?
Well, like you say, I'm training with us Monday to Friday, so I'm taking that in and doing my best to do that. And then when I'm playing games on a Saturday, I'm trying to implement that into that environment as well.
Time for the latest quickfire round now then, with Adam Long next in the hot seat.
I'm Adam and I'm 22. I was born in the Isle of Man. Union Mills Sunday League. Blackburn. Ooh, John Terry. Ooh, probably Ramos. Just everything he's won and the player that he is. Best goal I've ever scored. I could count them on one hand. Probably just a header. Nothing out of this world, no. Ooh. Scott Smith. Nando's. Probably a pizza. Spiders. Quite like playing darts. Golf. Recently just watched Luther series after watching the movie. Normally talk sport on the radio. Luther. Gotta be a few good ones. DiCaprio, Christian Bale, I might need someone a bit bigger, Arnold Schwarzenegger, something like that. So probably him. Lanzarote with the missus. Plumbing. Travel back in time. No, not really, not sport related really. Just hang around with friends and stuff. Ben Close is passing.
Liam, Adam Long, another player who's had to be patient of late, hasn't he? He started quite a lot of games under Danny Schofield in the early days of his tenure, but similar to Bobby, injuries starting to bite, and Bobby called back from his loan. Adam Long won't be too far away either, you imagine, in the final 8 games of the season.
That's right. Your players have just got to be ready. They've got to take that, as Bobby touched on, the time on the training ground, that learning. You've got to take that on board and show that you're ready to go whenever you're called upon.
And Bobby, when you have come back from a loan, or Adam Long who's not had much game time, it shows the value of the squad, doesn't it? So even if you're not playing week in, week out, you simply have to keep yourself in the right condition, the right frame of mind to be ready to go as soon as you're called upon. Yeah,
like you say, it's just keeping yourself right and expecting to play, which is the main thing. And when you're out on the pitch, just give everything and be ready at all times.
Because the way Danny does it as well, he wants you to train as you play, doesn't he? So if you are involved and you're training as though you were going to play at a weekend, that rustiness sort of can go out the window a little bit.
Yeah, and me going out on loan as well, that definitely helped with coming in and having the 30 minutes I had a few weeks ago. So that, like you say, the rustiness wasn't there. So yeah.
Yeah, Ben Nelson returned to Rovers this week after a spell on international duty with the England under-19s. He says that's another learning curve in his development. Ben, nice to be back in familiar surroundings after a little spell away with the England under-19s.
Yeah, it's good to get back in, see all the lads and get back to work, yeah.
What's it been like over the past week or so for you, going away on international duty and I suppose developing your game even more?
Yeah, it's a lot different. Obviously it's a different game compared to what I'm used to in League Two, so yeah, it's great for my development. So.
Do you feel in those games and in those training sessions that you could use things you've learned while you've been with Rovers this season?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like my confidence has gone like sky high from being around kind of men's football and then taking it back down towards a more kind of academy-based setup. So yeah, it's good.
Were there a few lads in there that maybe haven't been out on loan yet, that picking your brains and asking what's it like at League Two level? What can I expect if I'm to do that next season?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's kind of the next step for a lot of boys to kind of ask me questions about what it's like and stuff like that. So.
In those international games, what's it like? How different is it? I imagine a lot of the players in there are very technical, very different to what you might come across in League Two.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot easier because of the way we play here. We try and play and stuff, so it's an easier kind of change to go to England and play that way, because obviously that's how they play technically, and yeah, that's good. What's it like pulling the England shirt on? As a proud Englishman, it must really bring out a sense of nostalgia, really. Yeah, it's great. Just when you're singing the national anthem and stuff like that, it's brilliant. Of course, Rovers not done so well since you were taken out of the team. A draw at Crawley, a disappointing result against Northampton. Was that difficult for you? You can't really influence it. You're watching on from afar. Yeah, obviously I watched the games back and kind of analysed it myself, but yeah, it's tough to be away and not kind of be able to do anything about it and help the team. But yeah. Yeah, you're back in now with 8 games of the season to go. A good chunk, isn't there, to go at? Yeah, definitely. Still a great amount of games to be played, and just got to keep pushing forward. Yeah. Liam, Ben's performances in a Rovers shirt recognised by that international call-up. Rovers have missed him, haven't they? It's fair to say, in what he brings in the last couple of games, but he's shown in his form so far what a shrewd addition he's been. Yeah, certainly has, and particularly in fitting in with that style that Danny Schofield wants to play. I think we've seen his ability on the ball is outstanding, and that ability to spot those gaps and drive out of defence, it's become a big part of that back three that Danny Schofield's implemented. And yeah, it has been a miss. It's presented opportunities for other players as well, and I'm sure Ben, now coming back in, will be determined to finish the season strongly and really make the most of this loan spell. Because you look at the injuries that Danny Schofield's had to contend with as well. Players seem to be dropping like flies at such a crucial time of the season with 8 games still to go. To be able to welcome back in a player who's been so good for the last couple of months is a welcome one.
Yeah, it certainly is. I think certainly with the nature of the injuries as well, it's players that have been ruled out for the rest of the season. This is going to feel like, really having a body coming back, very much welcomed. And yes, particularly one who's going to play such a big part.
Bobby, you and Ben, similar ages. Of course, he's had a different background to what you've had. But even at the same age, do you feel you can learn a lot from him and the way he does play out from the back? Very technically gifted for a big 6 foot plus centre half.
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, we've had different upbringings. He's been in academy and I wasn't. But we can definitely learn off each other, and we have done that. And I am starting to implement parts of his style of play into my style of play, and vice versa. So we're both learning off each other. So it's very good for us both. Yeah,
the key is that it works both ways, isn't it? There'll be elements of his game that he looks at you and thinks, actually, he's probably better at that than I am, and the other way around. So you've got to be able to sort of pick each other's brains because, like you say, sometimes coming through a Premier League academy, you don't get that natural exposure, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. Like when you're playing 18s and 21s football, it's a lot different to playing men's football at 16 years old like I was. So I'll learn different aspects of the game to what he did at that age. So, yeah.
Now, the foundation launched their Protect the Planet social action campaign this week. Luke Molyneux was on hand with Salters Gate Junior School to plant a few trees at the Eco Power Stadium. Liam, Luke Molyneux down there with one of the partner schools, and more good work done by the foundation.
Yeah, and in a different way. The sort of environmental side of things, planting trees. It's a great initiative. I think we've seen this week with the release of the sustainability index. There's going to be more and more pressure on football clubs to deliver in green terms anyway, and Rover's getting on board with that alongside the foundation.
And Bobby, Rover's more than just a football club. Of course, the food and drink is the games at 3 o'clock on a Saturday or 7:45 on a Tuesday night. But again, showing that, and you've been a part of it as well with the sports college, that they are much more than that.
Yeah, they do a lot more than just, like you say, the football side of things, going out, helping schools, not just with the planting trees, but doing a lot of other things, just like player meets and stuff like that. It's good for fans to interact with us, and we want to do that, and I'm pretty sure they want to do that with us as well.
A big milestone this weekend then, Liam. Tommy Rowe could potentially make his 600th career appearance, more than 200 of those with Rovers. Just how much respect does he deserve for what he's achieved in his career? Still only 34 as well. No one would put it past him, would they, to go and get another 100, 150?
And certainly wouldn't, and he's been a massive part of this club, and he's been a massive player across the EFL in his career. He's had some fantastic seasons with a wide variety of different clubs, and over 2 spells here, he's been such a big player. He's certainly still one of the top players in this division, and you'd fancy that he could step back up and do it again. But a tremendous professional above all else, I think. Just see the way that he conducts himself both on the pitch and particularly off it, and the kind of figure that he is in the squad for the players, young players, the likes of Bobby, to look up to and learn from, and there's no better player to learn from than Tommy Rowe.
Just how big an impact does he have in the dressing room, Bobby? Because when you see him, he's a very different animal on the pitch to off it, isn't he? It's sort of as if he flicks a switch and everything changes. But to get 600 games in a career where some players wouldn't even get half of that deserves a lot of credit.
Like Liam says, is as big a player off the pitch than he is on the pitch. He, like you say, he conducts himself brilliantly, and he is like a father figure to some of the younger lads. And he definitely puts a lot of us on the right track. So it's brilliant to have him in the changing room.
And you can tell he's got that love for the club, hasn't he? He's not a local lad by birth, but he spent that much time here now. He came back obviously for a reason last summer, and he cares, doesn't he? That's probably the biggest thing you'd say about him.
Yeah, like you say, you get players dibbing and dabbing around clubs, but 200 games, you don't play 200 games at a club if if it's not what you want to do.
Clearly an EFL legend. Rovers take on Crewe this weekend, Liam, a team who, another one of the sides who got relegated alongside Rovers last season. It's not quite worked for them this season, has it, for one reason or another?
No, I think we've seen that all four of the teams that come down, Rovers included, it's not been plain sailing for anybody. I think it's getting tougher to immediately bounce back, from relegation, whatever division you get relegated out of. It's been difficult for them. I think Crewe always seem to go through this. They have periods where they're really strong. They get a wave of players coming through that academy and a couple of shrewd additions as well, and they ride the crest of a wave. And then those players get picked off, as there's been like the history of that club for decades now. They're going through that transition period now, and just finding the feet again at this level.
Bobby, on the subject of academy, with Keelan Lavery and George Miller now out for the season, it may not be too long before Jack Goodman gets his call up. 20 goals in the academy. You'll have obviously trained with him a few times. What do you make to him, and how good is he? How good could he be?
Yeah, like you say, he's a very good player. 20 goals. You don't get 20 goals without. It's not a fluke. But I've played quite a few games with Jack, and brilliant player, brilliant person, and I'm pretty sure he'll make a career out of it.
Once he gets that exposure, Liam, you feel that it will be there for the taking. If he can get a few appearances under his belt the remainder of this season, get himself a goal or two. The goals don't move, do they? No matter what level you're playing at.
No, they don't. And it's great watching him in training. That natural finishing ability, it's clear to see. His quality in front of goal is there. This is a big period for him. If he can get some opportunities, and you'd imagine that even if it's not necessarily starts initially, he's going to get some time off the bench, you would think. It's a big period for him, because it can set himself up now for what comes next season. Can he be in and around it here, or can he set himself up with a really good loan move next season that's really going to accelerate that development?
And with Rovers struggling for goals as well, it may be time to just let the shackles off a little bit and allow the team to go and play with that freedom. If it is Bobby getting a chance at centre half, we've seen Liam Ravenhill start a couple of games and blooding that sort of Doncaster spirit within the team. It's
always difficult, because you don't know whether, and the coaching staff are the best ones to judge whether players are going to sink or swim. But if they've got that youthful exuberance and they can bring that onto the pitch, that fearlessness, that could be a massive asset. They're not playing with the weight of everything that's come before, and you go out and you take that opportunity and really make it count.
I won't ask Bobby for a score prediction, but Liam, how do you see this one going? A game with two teams really. Crewe probably aren't going to go down 10 points above the relegation zone, and Rovers now pretty sat in mid-table at present.
Yeah, it's going to be a testing one. We saw at their place there wasn't a great deal between the two teams on that afternoon. Danny Schofield's first game in charge, of course, and that one finished a draw. I do fancy Rovers to edge this one this weekend, so I'll say 2-1.
Bobby, Liam, thank you for your company. Thank you at home for watching on as well. We'll see you down there at the Eco Power Stadium this weekend as Rovers take on Crewe Alexandra.